Hey guys, my name is Carl and I have my guest here, Hope Yoder, and we are at Quick Takes. This is going to be a series where we pack hours of information in just a few minutes.
And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite new things from Ricoma, the DTF printer. We're working on the Revel 2. I had the privilege of getting this a few months ago, and Carl is the expert on this. He's trained me, taught me everything I know, but I realized that it's hard to retain all of that when you go through your training. So we're going to tell you, he's laughing. So we're going to just show you quick takes on a couple different things, starting with the morning routine.
So on today's video, we're going to show you everything I do every time I come to my DTF machine. Let's get started.
So Carl, when I come in the morning, what's the very first thing I should do when I walk through the door and put my purse down?
All right, so this is what I like to do. You're going to take your agitation dial. This is the dial that sets the speed for the agitation of the white ink. That's what keeps the titanium oxide moving throughout the ink, and you don't want it to settle. So the first thing I do is I'll turn it to 100%, hit the button, and it will agitate it for 1 minute. After that, I'm going to turn it to about 75, hit it again, go to about 65, hit it again, and end up right about 50. So you want to do 4 cycles.
Right.
Start at 100, go down to 75, 65, 50, and then you're done.
And so what this does, if I understand right, that the sediment in the white is heavier than the other ink, so this just keeps it nice and fresh, mixed. So that's only when I first come in, correct?
Correct. Now your system does circulate the ink throughout the night and
Right.
throughout the day as you're not there. However, this agitation is just an extra precaution to make sure that you get the freshest ink every time.
Okay, perfect. So step 1, we're going to touch the dial 3 times, starting with the highest temperature.
To the 100 first.
And then when we end, it's pretty much straight up. So just any 3 increments in there. Hey, Carl, I have one question before we go on to step 2. When we end that last push of the button, where should it stay all day long? At 100% or straight up?
So right about 50%. The reason you start at 100 is to get the ink agitated really good. So it's a violent act. It's kind of getting all spun up, and that could cause air bubbles in your ink. So as you decrease the speed, you're also kind of mitigating your bubbles. So when you end up at 50, you have a nice smooth consistency, and it's not like a frothy, like a cafecito kind of
That
thing.
makes sense. So throughout the entire day, after you do that initial, you're gonna leave it at 50, which is pretty much straight up.
And it keeps it nice and smooth without introducing too much bubbles.
Love that. All right, step 2, Carl. What's the next step, step 2?
So the next step, remember, my machine has been sitting in a pool of moisturizing fluid the whole night.
Right?
So first thing we have to do is we have to clean that out. So we're gonna do a strong head clean, and then we're gonna follow that up with a nozzle check.
All right, in just a second, we'll go to the software and we'll show you exactly what that looks like. All right, so step 2 is gonna be at the computer, but we forgot to do 2 things on the machine.
That's right, you wanna turn on the printer, the actual printing mechanism. If you turn this off, the main function of the circulatory system will stay on, but you're kind of reducing the power from the lights, and you're kind of putting it in a soft sleep mode.
Okay.
So make sure you turn that on, and also something that's very critical, turn on the suction for the bed.
Yeah, you hear
Let's
it
do that
making
again.
that noise, and so it's gonna hold the film down, right?
Yeah. This is what's gonna allow the vacuum to start holding the film down so it doesn't pop up while you're printing. So you turn it all the way up, and watch, it's gonna help suck the paper down.
Yeah, and that helps prevent head strike. I found that out pretty early. If you've had a head strike, just make sure that that's on.
Correct.
All right, so before we go to the computer, we've already wet capped this in another video, and let's just show them what it looks like, the fluid, and why we need to get rid of it before we go to the software.
So a good wet capping at the end of the day is you're gonna take your left arrow and move the head all the way over to the left. This is gonna do 2 things. This will allow you to fill the ink stacks with the moisturizing fluid. It'll also allow you to inspect the head while it's sitting in front of the mirror. So that's a good way to make sure your head is nice and clean, and if you need to wipe it, you can do that. And then you fill your ink stacks. Once your ink stacks are full, you're gonna hit enter. That's going to draw the head back and raise the ink stack up so that it keeps the heads nice and clean.
All right, now that we know that fluid is in there, when we go to the software and we do those 2 functions, what's gonna happen to all that liquid that's in there, Carl?
So all that liquid is going to be drawn out and placed in your waste compartment. There's a little bucket there that all the waste fluid goes into, but it does 2 things. it draws out that moisturizing fluid, but it also draws fresh ink into
Right.
the lines. That's why it's really important to do the strong head clean. You're removing the fluid from the ink stack, and you're also freshening the ink that are in the lines.
Right, and then when we do the nozzle check in a second, then you can tell if you have enough ink in there. So let's go right to the software now and show you what you do for the next step.
So here we are at Host and Soft, and what you want to do first is you're going to go to the Clean tab, and you're going to do a strong head clean on all the heads. You can do a strong head clean on each individual head, but I just like to do it on all, and I'm going to do strong. It is possible that you may have to do more than one strong head clean at a time. So you're going to do a
Right.
strong head clean, do a nozzle check, do a strong head clean, do a nozzle
Right,
check.
and I ran into that off camera. We were kind of talking about that. If you left it sit for a few days, you're not going to know you need to do a second strong head clean until you do the nozzle check and you see that all the colors aren't showing up. So
Correct.
it wouldn't be wrong if you did that series 4 or 5 times in the event that you needed to, right?
Yeah, you might not have to do it that many times, but yes, it is
Generally
okay to
it's
do it.
one time. If
Yeah.
I'm coming in a day or two, I'm just running that once and everything's good.
Right.
All right.
So this is going to take a couple seconds, about a minute and a half. Once it's done, you then perform the nozzle check just by clicking the check button.
And one of the things I had trouble, I'm like, what is it doing? You can look on the head on the info display, but if it's all grayed out, you just have to wait for it. It's still working. When the buttons come on like that, we're ready to
There
do
they
check.
go. So now we've done our head clean, and we're just going to do a nozzle check just by clicking here, and that's just going to take a couple seconds.
Let's open the lid so they can kind of see what's happening there. Okay. So how do we know if it was a good print?
So looking at this one, the CMYK, you can see that the black ink is a little bit clogged. It didn't come out full. All the other colors are okay. And on the white, I see a little bit of bending. So we are going to have to do a strong head clean one more time and then run the same nozzle check.
All right. So while Carl's doing that, again, we don't have all the colors. So strong head clean of both heads. We're gonna do that same process again. So this will be 2 times, and that's not unusual. So I don't want you to freak out or think, my printer's broken. It just
Yeah,
needs a little more
that's
love
normal.
today.
And before I run the nozzle check though, I will advance the paper just a little bit so I don't run over the same spots. That way I can clearly see what I'm doing.
Right.
And that's okay because when you're gonna print, you do wanna have a little bit of lead before you actually start printing regardless. So it's you might as well use that little waste paper for something.
Yeah, perfect.
So as long as it's full, it's okay. So I'm just gonna advance it just a little bit. And what I wanna do is I wanna advance it just over the second line, just under the print head, because my white head is right there. So now that I do this, I'm gonna hit my nozzle check, and we're looking for the next step. If you find yourself doing more than 5, 6, 7, 8 nozzle checks, I would bring the carriage over to the left-hand side and look underneath, because it's possible you may have a plaque of ink stuck under there, and it just requires some manual cleaning.
Right, and in that case, it's a window cloth, and the full cleaning solution instead of the moisturizing would be a little stronger, correct?
Correct. You have the
Oh, that's
the
better.
swab applicators. We just still need a little bit more of the black right there. So this is normal.
All right, Carl, what's step 3?
So part of my training regimen, after you do step 1, 2, step 3 is for you to print a colorful, small mini gang sheet that you can either download from Hope Yoder, right?
Yep, you can go to, well, we'll put a link in this video. If you want this file, I'm gonna show you how to use it and you can grab it free.
Right. And what I also recommend is if you have a logo for your company that you're always making shirts out of, why not print those all the time and you can have them spare so you're really not wasting any type of paper.
Right.
But if you don't, it's perfectly fine to download this file. It has all the colors, and this assures that every single ink is fresh and you're going to start nice for the whole day.
Yeah, one of the things that I did with this, like Carl showed me how to do the rainbow, and I love that, but a lot of times I'll do really thin lines, and I want to make sure my alignment is good. That, in other words, I don't see that white sticking outside of the black. So I have black everywhere, thin and thick, so I can check that. So this is just a file I made in Canva. I'm going to show them in Vivid Rip real quick in case they do download it, how to prepare it and rip it to print it. For me, everybody does things different, but after I do these 2 steps, I always print this same thing, and then I keep one that's cured so I have a tester. That way, if my blue ink is faded, you know, I'm gonna know what it looked like before.
Correct, and you can compare last month's to this month to make sure that everything is on par.
Right, and usually I write a little date with a Sharpie marker. So let's go to the computer.
And if your machine is out of alignment, which doesn't really happen all the time, it shouldn't happen. If it is, this is a great way to test right now before you start doing your production and you have to stop everything.
Yeah, so good point. Before I do a leader sheet or pull this through, I am gonna want to make sure that it's just loose and trim, because after I print this, I'm gonna cut it, and usually I'll put this against a dark surface to make sure that that white isn't sticking out.
That's great.
You learned me well.
Nice. Grasshopper, you have come a long way.
Yes, thank you, son. Okay. All right, so I have a new page. I'm in Vivid Rip. I'm going to import the downloaded image from my website. Again, we have a link there. And so this is just a PNG file. And when I bring it in, I need to crop it. So in Vivid Rip, I'm gonna come under crop, and then I'm just gonna drag this down as close as I can get it. And click OK. And usually I'm gonna make this pretty big, so it's gonna go the width of the paper. All right, now that I have that done, I am going to right click and rip it, and we'll just call this morning routine. We'll call it morning test Hope Yoder, so Carl thinks about me every time he sees that. So we'll notice that this is still ripping. Down on the bottom, you have the little guide. It's green. When it's done, it's already ripped. So now that that's ripped, we're gonna go ahead and print it. So I'm gonna open Hosensoft software. I'm going to open the file, and I always like to add, Carl taught me this, add 2 layers of white ink. So to do that, I'm gonna double click on this. I'm gonna choose multi-ink, and on the white, I'm gonna choose 2, OK, OK again. And now I'm ready to print that. So it's gonna print, I'm gonna trim it, and then I'm going to evaluate it. And if I'm good to go, then you're ready to print for the day. All right, so now that that's done, I'm gonna move it forward. I'm gonna go ahead and trim it. And these are, actually, if you're wondering what these scissors are, these are for batting. This is like a quilt batting scissors. It's really long. I have this hanging off my machine. It's kind of my little favorite go-to tool. If I was a guy, I'd be using a knife like Carl. So then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just evaluate this, look at it really good, and make sure everything looks great. And if it does, then I'm ready to keep printing. So what do you think, Carl? Anything to add?
Nope, that's it. So the wet capping should be done every time you walk away from the machine.
Really?
Yes.
I've been doing it at the end of the day. Why do I not want to do it just once at the end of the day?
Because let's say you have a job right now,
Okay.
but you don't have one for another 3 hours. So
Okay.
right now your machine's been sitting with no wet cap for 3 hours. Let's say you get a call, you got to go home and the machine is not wet capped. Now you just went home, you left the machine not wet capped. So as long as I'm done with the job, I wet cap it. If it comes in a couple minutes later, or if I know it's coming, I don't. But if I'm not sure when the next job is coming, I always wet cap it. Because if I get pulled away for whatever reason,
way you
if
don't
I have
forget.
an emergency,
Okay.
I don't have to think, oh my God, I forgot to wet cap it.
So how long, what would, let's give him a hard number. I'm the person that's like, how long? 2 hours, 3 hours? What would you say? 1 hour, 2 hours? You said three, but what in real street value? If I'm more than 1 hour, do I still, or could I live on the edge?
You leave it for the whole day and you just do it at the end of the day. And it's working for you just fine.
Yes.
Okay, so I propose that if you're not using the machine if you're gonna walk away from it, put it in a wet cap. It only takes about 10 mils of fluid. It's not like you're gonna be dumping a lot of fluid in there. Just walk away, wet cap it, and you're good to go. The next time you come in, you just do your strong head clean and you start. Because every time you print, even though you've done this throughout the day, you still wanna do a strong head clean at the beginning of every print. Even if you haven't,
Got it.
if you haven't printed for an hour, I would recommend doing the strong head clean just
Okay.
to make sure it's nice and primed.
Well, I promise I'm going to change that because I don't want anything to go wrong with the investment. I have listened to what you said, and there has not been one day where I have not wet capped. Aren't you proud of me?
I'm proud of you.
I do see in some of the groups, people are like, wet capping, what is that? And I just want to like roll up in a ball. And
I know.
Because wow, like if you paid for this machine, do your due diligence, start the morning off right, and in the next quick take, Carl's going to show you how to wet cap.
That's correct. And again, the reason behind wet capping when you're not using it is just in case you get pulled away in an emergency, you don't have to worry about coming back to it.
And it prevents clogs and all of those issues.
All that good stuff.
All right, guys, bye for now.
Later.